Next week, on Coronation Street, Sam Blakeman's behavior sparks fresh concern for his father Nick Tilsley when he struggles to handle a defeat in a chess match against Roy Cropper. The incident raises questions about whether Sam is still far from regaining the person he once was. While staying at the mental health facility, Sam receives a visit from Roy, who wants to spend some time with him. Roy offers reassurance regarding the recent episode in which Sam, experiencing psychosis, trapped both of them inside Roy's roles. Later, Roy suggests a game of chess, and Sam agrees. However, what begins as a positive moment soon develops into something much more worrying. Nick is thrilled when he sees Sam sitting down to play chess again, reveals a source from the show. Before his mental health struggles began, chess was one of Sam's biggest passions, especially when playing with Roy. At first, Nick sees it as a sign that his son is improving, but then Sam reacts badly when he loses. After making an inexperienced mistake during the match, Sam is beaten fairly by Roy. Under normal circumstances, losing would not have upset him, but this time he finds the defeat difficult to accept and responds in a way that leaves Nick alarmed. Our source explains that Nick is shaken by seeing Sam behave so differently from usual. As a devoted father, he desperately wants life to return to normal for his son, but it's becoming clear that recovery will take longer than he'd hoped. At the moment, Sam still appears to have a significant journey ahead before he is fully well again. Can Nick continue to provide the support Sam needs during his recovery, or will the emotional strain become too much for him? In recent weeks, the ITV drama has focused heavily on Sam's mental health battle. Actor Jude Riordan has earned widespread praise from viewers for his portrayal, especially after Sam's struggles finally became known to those closest to him on the street. Sharing his thoughts on Instagram, Jude wrote, "It's been an incredible honor to be given such a challenging storyline and trusted to tell it properly. Thank you to everyone who has sent kind messages during this journey. There's still more to come." A huge thank you to my Coronation Street family, particularly Ben Price, Jane Danson, Georgia Taylor, and David Nielsen, who have all offered me so much support and encouragement. As always, the crew has been fantastic, and the writers have done an amazing job. It was really important to highlight that mental health crises can affect young people too, and that this is something many families experience in real life. Coronation Street favorite Kevin Webster found himself at the center of a dramatic armed confrontation during Tuesday's episode, leaving viewers questioning whether the long-standing character could be facing a deadly fate. Kevin, portrayed by Michael Lavelle since 1983, has been a key figure in many of the soap's most memorable storylines. Over the years, much of his drama has revolved around his former wife Sally and their daughters Rosie and Sophie. Recently, however, Kevin's life has become more turbulent than ever. Over the past year, he has battled a diagnosis of testicular cancer, while also coping with the devastating discovery that his estranged wife Abby had been involved in a secret relationship with Carl Webster, a man Kevin had always believed was his brother. Earlier this year, another family bombshell emerged when Debbie Webster revealed that she was actually Carl's biological mother, completely changing the family's history. Carl's troubles have also mounted in recent weeks. He suffered injuries after a car accident at the garage when Tyrone Dobbs accidentally caused a vehicle to fall on him. Afterwards, Carl misled the police about where he had been that evening, resulting in innocent Summer Spellman being jailed in connection with Theo Silverton's murder investigation. The simmering tension finally exploded in the latest installment of the ITV soap when Kevin and Carl confronted one another inside the garage. Ronnie Bailey and Tyrone watched anxiously as events spiraled out of control. A firearm obtained from questionable car dealer Fiona Morley ended up on the floor between the pair after Kevin attempted to strike Carl with a wrench. Trying to force a resolution, Carl challenged him, saying they either settled their differences or Kevin should pick up the gun. Believing it to be harmless, Kevin grabbed the weapon. Moments later, a violent struggle broke out after Carl urged him to pull the trigger. Suddenly, a gunshot echoed through the garage, revealing that Kevin had indeed fired the weapon. Tyrone quickly intervened, restraining Kevin and helping him regain control. Once Kevin realized Carl had escaped unharmed, he immediately apologized. Later that day, Carl visited Kevin at number 13 in an effort to make peace. Reflecting on the chaos, Carl admitted the day had been a disaster and acknowledged that agreeing to work for Fiona had been a mistake. He also expressed regret for producing the gun and suggested that both of them had made poor choices. Kevin responded by admitting they would probably never become close friends, but he was willing to move forward for Debbie's sake if Carl genuinely intended to do the right thing. Still seeking answers, Kevin asked Carl why he had betrayed him by becoming involved with Abby. Although Kevin knew dwelling on the past was unhealthy, he felt he needed an explanation. Carl confessed that selfishness, jealousy, and self-destructive behavior had driven his actions. He acknowledged the hurt he had caused and said he deeply regretted what he had done, insisting he no longer wanted to be that person. The emotional conversation ended with the two men appearing to put their feud behind them as they shook hands and agreed to move on. However, the drama was far from over. By the close of the episode, Ronnie and Debbie learned the full story about the firearm. Carl claimed he had already returned the gun, but a new problem emerged when Fiona reported that it had never made its way back to her. Concerned about the danger this created, Debbie pointed out that not only could unknown enemies now be searching for them, but there was also a loaded gun missing somewhere, potentially placing everyone at risk. Debbie wasted no time laying down the law, telling the pair, "Tomorrow morning, the first thing you're doing is getting out there and finding that gun. If you fail, Fiona will be the least of your problems. You'll be answering to me instead. Now get out of here, both of you." She promptly ordered them out, unaware that the missing firearm had already fallen into someone else's hands. Unknown to Debbie, Ronnie and Carl, Shona's long-lost sister Jody Ramsey had discovered the weapon and secretly taken possession of it. The dramatic scenes quickly sparked discussion among viewers on social media. One fan commented on X, "Carl turning up with a gun during an argument? That's something only cowards do, Corrie." Another viewer speculated about the latest twist, writing, "What exactly is Jody planning to do with that gun? Is she going to threaten David with it if he refuses to sleep with her?" A third fan was pleased to see the family conflict easing, posting, "Glad Kevin and Carl finally made peace. Hopefully Carl can get his life back on track for Debbie's sake." Meanwhile, another viewer reacted to the tense confrontation by saying, "Kevin and Carl were lucky to escape that situation. Wow, the gun actually went off." Coronation Street continues to air on ITV1 on weekday evenings at 8:30 p.m. and is also available to stream on ITVX.